Hello and welcome to this channel. My name is Janet. I'm working through the King James's Bible. Today I'm in the book of Kings, part 2, and I'm working through chapters 17 and 18. So let's not waste more time and get right to it. So chapter 17 begins with us noting that it's the 12th reign of King Ahaz in the Judah tribe. So he's there doing his thing when we get a new king in Israel on the northern side, and his name is King Hoshea. Now he reigns for 9 years in Samaria. And he did not do good in the eyes of God. He was wicked, he was sinning, but apparently it wasn't as bad as his predecessors. Now during King Ahasuerus' reign, he was under tribute to the king of Assyria. So he had to pay him taxes, and he didn't want to do this anymore. So he tried to form an alliance with the king of Egypt. So he was plotting to get away from this, but unfortunately the king of Assyria found out about this. He got his men, captured the king, and placed him in prison. Now all of this oppression is taking place because the Israelites have just totally not following the laws of God. None of the statutes, the laws, the commandments. They are sinning, they are worshipping false gods. They're making false images like Jeroboam did, these 2 golden calves. They are sacrificing their children. It is getting pretty bad. And this really is why the Israelites end up being captured by the king of Assyria and placed in exile. So the king of Assyria places the Israelites in different areas, and unfortunately the Israelites' land, the promised land, is then occupied by all these different foreign nations that go in and occupy it because they are no longer there. And these foreigners in the promised land are worshipping their false gods, they're doing sacrifices, letting their children die. It's just brutal, it's wicked, and so God decides to send lions to kill some of them. Now the king of Assyria, he sends one of the priests from the Israelite tribes who used to reside in Israel to these foreign lands to try and get them to follow the Israelite law of God. So the priest goes there, he's trying to teach them, but they will not listen. They are stubborn people. They carry on worshipping their false gods and just totally ignoring these teachings. And this is how we close chapter 17, with no one really following the God of Israel. Now we open chapter 18, moving over to now the king of Judah. And we have a new king, and this is King Hezekiah. He is the son of King Ahaz. Now he is a ray of hope, really, you would think, because he is looking good in the eyes of God. He's trying to get rid of the false gods, which he does, and also the bronze snake that Moses had made. In his 7th reign as king over Judah, a war broke out with the king of Assyria. And he besieged Samaria at this point. This is when King Hoshea on the other side of the Israelite tribe was captured and put into prison. Now 7 years later, a new king of Assyria by the name of Sennacherib, he decides he wants the Judah tribe now, so he goes over there and he captures them. Now at this point, King Hezekiah writes a letter to the king of Assyria demanding for his freedom back, and he's willing to give him whatever treasures to have that freedom back. So the king of Assyria demands 300 talents of silver and 30 talents of gold. So Hezekiah decides to rip his temple out of all the gold and silver and even the frames and things on the walls to pay the king of Assyria so they can get their freedoms back. And he sends his officials, and so does the king of Assyria. They meet at this pool to exchange the money. Now the king of Assyria had sent a large army over, not just a few of his officials, but they were there as well. And these people basically came to coax the Israelites into coming with them. They were saying things like, we look at all of our chariots and that will overthrow you. Don't listen to your king. He's not going to take you anywhere. You can't get away from the king of Assyria. He is going to win. Give up your freedoms and come with us, and we'll give you a better life in our land because your king just has no idea what he's doing, kind of thing. But his people are told to say nothing in response to whatever they say, which they don't. So they then go back to King Hezekiah and they tell him what they have said and proposed, whilst ripping off their clothes. And then this closes today's chapter. So we will see where this is going to go. Are they going to surrender? Or are they going to put up a fight? We don't know. But that is the end of these 2 chapters for today, and I will be back as always with the next installment in the book of Kings 2 very soon. Hope to see you then. Take care. Bye.